Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mowing After Dark here on the College Football Mafia Network. I hope everybody can hear me because Rock couldn't hear me. So let me know in chat you can hear me. Otherwise, this is going to be a rather uneventful stream. I want to thank everybody who's come in here early tonight. We're going to be giving a little love to the G6. We're going to be giving a little love to the Pac-8/12/ maybe the Pac-10 again. Who knows? Could be a lot of different options on the table for us. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to try and figure out who is number 8 and does number 8 pull their weight in the Pac-12, because that media deal, we know the San Diego State athletic director said it's right around the corner. So, and we have no reason to doubt him because he's never been wrong on anything. So, let's say hello to some people first. Rock will be joining us shortly, so he's just going to try and correct his audio. Ryan Willie is the first one in the house. My Badger brother from another mother says, "Hey, CFM, good to see you, Ryan." And then he hits us with a super chat. No, contrary to the classic 70s show, 8 is not enough. They're scrambling to find an 8th football school because they lowballed schools they thought would jump at the chance to play in the Pac. Yes, absolutely. You got the reference, Ryan. I'm not the only old person here who remembers the great 70s sitcom 8 is Enough. Yeah, they definitely lowballed some people here. They had to go back to the well. They may have screwed themselves not taking UNLV when they had the opportunity. John Nelson says, that is why you have negotiations. Sure. Sounds like, this is from Timothy Green, sounds like another very interesting show. Can't wait to watch. Thank you, Timothy Green. MBM says UNLV is broke and couldn't afford the jump. The Pac war chest dried up. UNLV is only broke until they get that big payday from the Mountain West. Ryan Willie says the Pac and Mountain West should just merge. You're probably right on that, Ryan. That's probably how they should have all started. And now we've got this downhill slide where we've got Northern Illinois in the Mountain West, at least temporarily. Northern Illinois likes to leave the MAC a lot and then come back. So we'll see how long this actually lasts. But at this point, merging now, I don't think that's an option. I think there's just too many hurt feelings and too much money at stake for both conferences. Ryan Willie with another $5 super chat. I hear Fickle was a good high school football player, college coach, not so much. Yes, Fickle was a good football player. He was a good college football player, too. He was a good nose tackle. College coach, again, I know we disagree on this, but Luke Fickle did take Cincinnati. Luke Fickle is the only one who took a G5 school into the 4-team playoff. He deserves some credit for that. He went to Wisconsin, and I think he bit off a little more than he could chew. He thought he was going to go in there and just change what Wisconsin was to try and match what Ohio State is, and it didn't work out for him. But now I think they're getting more on the run first, get you some glass eaters up front, push that ball, push that ball, push that ball. They're getting back to that Woody Hayes style of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, as we called it at Ohio State. Barry Alvarez, Ron Dane, you know how I'm talking about. Those big running backs we've seen come out of Wisconsin before that just bully ball. Ryan says I'll watch later. Well, thank you for the super chat, Ryan. I'm going to give you some sounders. By the way, Ute's favorite sound effect. And let me give you a little bit of on Wisconsin. Whoops, where is it? Well, that's Oklahoma State. Let's do that. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of movies. Let's see if we've got some Major League here for you for the great Bob Uecker, who we all love and miss.
He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Thank you again for your super chats, Ryan. By the way, if anybody wants to leave a super chat, become a member, gift a membership. Those all help support us keep the lights on the channel. You can just click the little cash icon below, and it'll give you the option to do all that. So feel free.
We could probably use some new soundboards here or something. I don't know. I feel like Greg.
Well, at least it's not me. You had me panicking because I went through and sorted all my sound stuff this weekend.
Well, usually it is you when we're on pre-board, pre-game.
Right, pre-show. It is usually me.
So I'm trying to fix it while we're doing this. So we'll see how well that goes. It will probably come and break right when I'm saying something actually smart versus when I'm saying something not so much.
Well, at least we can hear you. That's an important thing. By the way, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. If you have kids, congratulations. Happy Father's Day. Hopefully they bought you something good. Maybe took you to breakfast, took you to lunch, took you to dinner. And if they didn't, I don't know what to tell you. UNLV cannot afford to pay exit fee because they used all their money to buy TP for their bungholes. Every week, Nelson, I don't know what it is. You've got an obsession with cornholio. I'm putting
and it's funny every week, though. That's the thing.
I guess they did do a remake of or a reboot of Beavis and Butthead. I guess I haven't seen it, but I guess.
I mean, just to use a Vegas reference, he's just letting it ride week to week.
There you go. I'm putting my betting chips on Texas State becoming team number 8. Not a bad pick. John Nelson says, that song by Mickey Gilley, Don't the Girls All Get Prettier at Closing Time? That is what Texas State is, the girl who is pretty at closing time, and closing time only. Best of the rest. Well, again, we'll get into that. One would think Gonzaga would be somewhere in the process of creating a football program. The writing's on the wall. MBM, I would think you got to remember revenue share. Gonzaga is basketball school. They probably want to spend all that revenue they can on basketball programs. So
yeah, I think if you had schools like Gonzaga, St. John's, a bunch of others for decades not doing it, they're not about to change it now. I mean, some of those schools actually had Division I basketball and Division III football at times. So I'm not sure if they'll change up.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. I see maybe they spend $10 million in revenue share a year, and it's all on basketball. Bob Swanger, Nittany Lion, is in the house. Hey, everyone. Good to see you, Bob. The Big Lubbock erroneously claimed first. You can't do that unless you're first. Come on. Come on, Big Lubbock. Even if you do have $55 million on your roster, you can't declare first in the Mo and After Dark chat. Caleb Ramirez is here. He says, hey, everyone. Good to see you, Caleb. Everybody can hear me, it looks like. Stormy Cyclone, he says, hello, guys. Flying solo. Nope, not flying solo. Rock just had some audio issues. Thanks for stopping in, Stormy Cyclone. Good to have an Iowa State fan here. FF18 Buffs. Good evening, Moen. Have a great show. Fergie. Sco Buffs. Good deal. Sco Buffs, Fergie. Let's see. We got Mr. Ed Wainers here. Good to see you, Mr. Ed. Jackson Johnson, moderator extraordinaire. He is here in the chat. He says, what's up, CFB Mafia Nation? Rob Ellen, the Clemson Tiger, is here, and he says loud and clear. Oh, okay. So this is going to be a little weird, guys. We do have Rock on cam, but we've also got Rock on audio. So
I am everywhere.
He is everywhere. Whatever the name of that movie was.
But the sound's okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. W. Jason Spangler's in the house, a fine member who's a Kansas Jayhawk. He says, happy Father's Day, y'all. Yes, indeed. Clint Moses is letting us know home run Beavers. We go. Jose, Moen's still number one in PATC Trivia AP poll. Yeah, I was unavailable to compete, and I didn't know I was supposed to compete. I am still sticking by it that I did not have a fair opportunity to defend my title on PATC for Trivia Champ. Becky Go Husky says, hello all. Good to see you, Becky. Thanks for joining me last Wednesday. Friends call me Sean. Could, would, should. Washington State, Oregon State should have reversed merge until some things play out, then break away with the best of both, the Pac AAC.
I mean, do they even have time to do that?
Well, as someone told me today, when shit gets weird. Jacobra Cat's in the house. He says SEC adds Florida State, BYU, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia football brand. North Carolina, Virginia, Kansas, Arizona, Louisville, Syracuse, UConn, and basketball. Colorado linked to West. Pitt, Big Country, and academics. North Carolina State, Wolfpack, backpack. Well, Jacobra Cat, I'm going to do a special members only stream where we build the Super SEC to compete with my 32 team Big League Big Ten. Probably going to do that this Thursday. So tune in then, and we're going to put polls up. We're all going to vote on it. We're going to create it. So midlife Beavis and Butthead are hilarious. Moen, best episodes show them as dudes in their 40s. Yeah, I don't have Paramount Plus. And until they get rid of South Park on HBO Max, I'm not getting Paramount Plus. So, Pac Chat Network, good to see you. What do you think the Pac will get annual in their media deal? My guess, $15 million.
Not yet.
We'll get there. Let's go slow. I'm just trying to roll in and make sure we've got everybody accounted for. We do. Well, we got one more. Go Black 45. He snuck in here. 2-pack needs 4 more schools, apparently. You need 9 conference games to win a natty. Okay. And it's true. Since the 12-team playoff started, or since the last 2 years, no team that has not played 9 conference games has won a national championship.
Wait, did I sleep a whole year off?
Well, what do you mean?
There's only been one. There's only
no. I'm saying yes. The 12 years, but the last 4-year one as well.
Okay.
No team who has not played 9 conference games has won a national championship. So, that's all we're going to say. What did you think about the Pac? Let's back up. Pac-12. San Diego State AD about 7 weeks ago now, said a media deal was right around the corner. People have various definitions of right around the corner.
Is he a geology professor at its core? Because if so, then he's completely correct.
Yeah, I mean, in a universal time scale, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks are right around the corner. But I mean, this is the second time he has allowed himself to be recorded saying something stupid.
I mean, if he was a big enough athletic director, he would be a parody commercial on SNL for like the guy who's behind the times.
Right. And remember San Diego State, I don't want to pounce on San Diego State, but San Diego State originally left the Mountain West because they were going to join the Pac-12 and then had to crawl back to the Mountain West and say, well, technically we never really left, and they had to do some negotiating. And then they left the Mountain West to join the Pac-12. So
He's at least making it interesting.
He is, but you would have to think at some point the commissioner is probably going to come down on San Diego State and tell him to rein that AD in or get a ball gag for him or something. Because right around the corner, and we haven't seen it yet. And we don't even know who.
I'm never gonna get that image out of my head.
Teresa Gould is a dominatrix with a ball gag in the San Diego State AD's mouth, putting cigarettes out on him. But it's interesting that we still don't know who Team 8 is. They kept pushing at. I think they were pushing at UNLV as long as they could until it became point obvious. UNLV's not going to leave the Mountain West, not until they get that payday. The Mountain West promised them a boatload of money. And by the way, the Pac-12, at the Pac-12, then the teams that are leaving the Mountain West are the ones who are going to pay them that boatload of money. So UNLV is out. But this goes all the way back when they first came out, when they first took those first schools and they said, we're not going to take anybody else out of the Mountain West. We're going to go after Tulane and USF and Memphis and these other AAC schools to try and create a new A5 conference, or at least separate itself somehow from the G5s and G6s of the world, by going out there and getting the best of the G5 and assembling them all together in one conference, basically. And by doing that, they kind of showed UNLV and a lot of these other schools in Mountain West that we don't think you're good enough for us. We don't think you're good enough for us, except they did go back and get Utah State. They did get Utah State when they realized their error, I should say, but they could not get UNLV. And now we're on team number 8. Who is it? What's the value of it? Where do they go? You're muted, Rock. You got to be careful to mute on the right one.
Yeah, I already blew that once. So if you go back in time to the date that it happened when the announcement came, they literally did not have to do any of this publicly until a couple of weeks ago, right? And in hindsight, we now know that they completely did not have their crap together. They approached it with arrogance. A real commissioner and a real leadership would not have gone out there wondering who was going to be their last partner, right? They wouldn't have done that with the key ones you needed to. Maybe a fill-in at the bottom, but not even to have existence. They completely blew the situation. They negotiated in public without having a strong hand because everybody knew they were desperate in terms of those AAC schools. They insulted who would have been like their backup prom date from the beginning, UNLV, right? And then they went back to her and was like, why don't you want to go out with us? In the meantime, the backup prom date is taking all of your money and is going to have more money than every one of you for 4 years and still might be able to come back to you later, or potentially, as we've heard rumored, trying to position themselves for 2030.
It's like the backup prom date's going out with your best friend. Like you get there and you're like, okay, well, I'll take you out now. And then you find out like she's going to the prom with your best friend. Your best friend asked her.
Or a prom king relative to the school here.
Right. But the other interesting thing is the Texas State athletic director has been doing an incredible job trolling on X/Twitter. Essentially once mentioning on a Twitter post that he didn't like half shares when taking a picture of a plate of food. And then just recently he showed 2 beavers swimming in a local river in Texas, hinting at the Oregon State Beavers, obviously. It just seems too perfect to not be Texas State at this point.
I mean, it would be hysterical if it's not Texas State at this point.
But if it's
But
not Texas State, who could it be?
I mean, if it's not Texas State and it's not another school in Texas that brings you that market, even if it really doesn't quote unquote bring you that market, but it does bring you access to the state in terms of the old TV deals and those markets, even if that school is the third, fourth, fifth, even in their biggest markets, versus the other options that are potentially on the board if you assume that UNLV is off. If they don't wind up getting a Texas school in that slot, it's already borderline laughable how it went down, though it can be salvageable into a very interesting conference, I think, ultimately. But I think you're right, and others have said it. The collective here, even though the Mountain West has handled things a lot more professionally and managed to salvage things a lot better, they should have figured out a way to come together.
MBM $25 super chat. Hot damn. He must be real happy about how the Oklahoma City Thunder did. Let me get his cowboy up here. We're going to do your cowboy song. He says, G6 Super League, say when. Let me get your Sounders first. And then I'm going to say something, and people are going to get tired of me saying this over and over again, but it'll make sense, I promise. I promise you guys it'll make sense at some point. And we'll give you a little Cartman. I know he likes Cartman.
I don't make the rules, ma'am. I just think them up and write them down. I'm a badass cowboy living in the cowboy days. Wiki, wiki, scratch, yo, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, large frog, go, says, stem a high act from the big metal spider. Wiki, 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 fresh cowboy from the west side.
Thank you for your super chat, MBM. And your continued generosity to the channel. We appreciate you. You're the MVP. You're MBM, but you're an MVP tonight. We appreciate you. G6 Super League, say when? When shit gets weird.
Well, shit seems to be weird across the entire globe right now, so maybe it's soon.
Let me put it this way. And I will say this throughout the next several weeks, but you just have to trust me on this, guys. When shit gets weird.
Does that mean that you're going to say go blue or something too?
No. When shit gets weird. Cobra says Pac adds Texas State now, then UNLV, Tulane, and Memphis in 2027, then absorbs USF, military academies, and ACC rejects in 2031. That's a huge conference.
That's an interesting conference. The question is, knowing the dollar amount that we're hearing at the moment, what would be the trigger for UNLV, Tulane, and Memphis to do something then that they could do now?
Yeah, I'd have to assume that the Mountain West was smart enough when they set up those payment structures with Air Force and UNLV. They're not getting those as a bulk payment. Those are being paid out in installments. The Mountain West is just not giving them $35 million in one chunk and saying, here you go, please don't leave, because they would definitely leave.
Yes, though we certainly can't put stupidity past any part of college football administrators and management in general. So you never know, even when a smart group might make a big mistake, but I think that is a very likely contingency.
Kevin Hampton, thanks for joining us tonight, Kevin. I think the Pac-12 might be stalling due to the ongoing mediation with the Mountain West Conference. Could be. We'll get to that in a second. Let me. Hey Moen, what's the word Thunderbird? What's the price? Twice as nice. I actually asked my dad about it. We were talking about this today at brunch, and when he was growing up, the jingle was actually, what's the price? 30 twice, because it was 60 cents a bottle. So there you go. They must have changed it when they had a price increase to 75 cents a bottle.
Got to make the lyrics work. Got to make the rhyme work.
Got to make the lyrics work. MD 2020 grape. No, thank you. That offer still stands. If someone wants to give $100 super chat, you will drink a bottle of MD 2020 grape. I will buy it for him and ship it to him. Rob Ellen, Wolfpack Backpack, Nevada, slow down UNLV. Well, there you go. You could go get Nevada. That's another good candidate. The Nevada Wolfpack. Reno, maybe not as big a market as Las Vegas, certainly, but it gets you into Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if that's the case, there's like 2 other schools in Texas you probably go for first outside of the state.
Absolutely. Friends Call Me Sean says, considering the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, the Pac Media deal is relatively right around the corner. Hell, even if you believe in creationism, it's still relatively right around the corner. That is a very short period of time, but we don't live in those. We're not basing it off of that. We're basing it off of the fact that this guy has done multiple foot and mouth, putting his brain in gear before opening mouth, as Evil Dave would say. Are they trying to lowball Texas State also? Don't back yourself in a corner. They apparently were. If we're to believe the Texas State AD, they were apparently trying to get Texas State to come in as the 8th football member at a half share. And Texas State was not going to play ball with that. And quite frankly, I don't think Texas State should have played ball with that. I don't think anybody should have played ball with that. I think whoever number 8 is should get a full share. Almighty Finn says Ian J. Erkenjerk. I don't know what that means, but you lost me on that one. Go Black 45 says College Football Mafia needs to start a pool of which team gets added. Texas State is now 5-2 odds with UTSA at 10-1. I'd put $10 in the pool. I know U is actually working on a video that we're going to put up here on the channel about the Pac-12. I think he may be doing just that, but we will not accept any action on it. Yeah, we don't. But you can bet we'll come up with virtual mafia bucks or something that people can put on it, and we'll see who wins and who loses and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think you is actually working on a video about that right now, and I'll tell you what, put 5-2 odds on it that you has his video up before the Pac-12 has number 8 in a media deal. The non-AAC and non-Mountain West schools that are west of the Mississippi are Texas State, Sam Houston State, Arkansas State, New Mexico State, La Tech, University of Louisiana Monroe, and Louisiana. Who do you add? If I'm taking those, I'm taking Texas State. Texas is a huge... it's tough. I know your best market in Texas is if you can get University of Texas San Antonio, which I've seen a lot of people say that that's what the Pac-12's plan is, to grab Texas State and University of Texas San Antonio to continue that rivalry in the Pac-12. But you got to get into Texas. New Mexico, fantastic, but just not enough population there to really make it worth your while. Louisiana's good, but Louisiana, a little far away, it adds those travel costs. That's one of the things that Memphis and Tulane and USF all balked at, that they didn't think they were going to get enough money compared to the travel cost. So, and I think they ended up getting $12.5 million payout this year from the AAC. So for the Pac-12 to do it, they'd have to be $15 million plus travel costs to get those schools to sway, I think. St. Ides Old English, no thank you. Not a malt liquor guy. UNLV doing what Las Vegas does best, taking advantage of deep pockets. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. They let Pac-12 trying to roll that hard 8. That's on the Pac-12. Like getting a prenup and trial separation at the same time. MBM says University of North Texas. You know, there's the FCS schools out there still. Sacramento State, we heard Sacramento State was spending all this money. I've also heard North Dakota State, South Dakota State move up. Although I think that's, you know, they're better off being big fish in little ponds, and I just don't think they bring enough media value. I get that they're fantastic brands for FCS. Both of them have won FCS championships, but I mean, it doesn't move like App State used to be an FCS school, and they came up, but it made sense. It worked. It worked because, Appalachian State was in a state with a lot of population. Okay, it was the president who wanted a full bowl of soup, not the AD. Well, I'm sure the AD is going to get paid too, so he wants a full bowl of soup also. Are Texas State and North Texas the same thing? No, two different schools. Kevin Hampton says the Pac-12 might be willing to go to court over the poaching fees. Okay. If I'm the Mountain West, let them go to court. They're going to pay my legal fees. I don't see the MEC getting more than $4.5 to $5 million per team with the losses they had. Mountain West, I think. Trying to say Mountain West? Yeah, Mountain West. What was Texas State called before? I believe it was Southwestern Texas State. Excuse me, Southwest Texas State.
That sounds brilliant to me, Mo. I have no idea what you said for the last 5 minutes, but awesome.
Thanks. Rock, you're holding it down for us, man.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't even know. I got computers and phones all acting like, they're somebody's bad season last year.
It's that Windows 11 update.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a long time to upgrade from 95.
UNLV is not a must-add for Pac-12 and never was. Terrible football history and basketball is long past. Maybe they changed that, but that's where it stands. Yep, but they're in Las Vegas, which is a market. That's on the West Coast. It's a big market. You can't underestimate the market, and the events you could hold there for the Pac-12. I mean,
look, the NFL and NHL and likely MLB and NBA have all essentially told you that is a top X market, or else they wouldn't be expanding there. Plus, you add the tourism aspect and the entertainment side and the sports hosting, like you said. You can say whatever you want, but there's a school that's primed, if they chose to take advantage of their opportunities in their market, to also be a big player in college, even if it makes it harder because they also have all those competing events going on.
Yeah, that new football stadium, for the Raiders until they move back to Oakland again.
I think they're going to LA first, and then they'll go back to Oakland.
Okay, and then I think they have a new basketball arena too.
They're working.
They're working on it.
There's
right?
so many places you could play basketball in Las Vegas right now because
right,
casino has their own.
They're actually working on getting an NBA franchise in Las Vegas.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
That's the chalk, so to speak.
Okay. So, they've got hockey there now, NFL there now. They're working on NBA. That's, again, it's a lot of markets. It's a market with a lot of sports in it. And some people say that's not a good thing for college athletics, but I don't know.
All you got to do is win in those markets. I know that's easier said than done, but if you invest, then you get it back.
Pac-X incompetence will blow it with Texas State and end up with New Mexico State. New Mexico State wouldn't be bad, but you would need – that would have to be like number 12, number 13, number 14. They can't be number 8.
Right. They're a fill in your conference and get more teams and more things evaluated, but you're not going to. I mean, look, they can be number 8 if you have no other choice because you have to actually get to that other team, right? You need to get that next team or else you're in trouble within a year. So,
UNT has a massive enrollment, about 50,000 according to MBM. Yeah. Look, Tarleton, don't forget Tarleton State's in Texas as well. So I'm just saying, let's not leave the Tarleton States of the world out there. But yeah, I mean, Texas schools are probably where it's at. That's where you need to be. You need to get into that Texas market if you're the Pac-12.
plus, you'll never let us forget Tarleton State. That's
I'll
your
never
job.
let you forget
Mo.
Tarleton. Nothing like a good old Tarleton. Trying to picture Moan at brunch. Moan was at brunch at a restaurant that had like 2 waitresses working. And somebody came in with like a party of 15. And it's like, bro, it's brunch. You want to sit a party of 15, you go to breakfast or you go to lunch. You don't go to brunch. Just saying, common decency, people. Common decency. But I did have a mimosa since it was brunch.
Is that just like orange juice for you?
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's not like they were using good champagne. It was, I'm sure it was cooked champagne or some bottom barrel champagne there, but they were free mimosas, so I had a free mimosa. AMAC says no AAC school is leaving for the PAC-X at this time. And they do serve alcohol at that restaurant, and I considered having a whiskey sour with my dad, but I did not. My dad did have a whiskey sour, though. Almighty Finn, I'll drink that. Joe Burke, good to see you. Haven't seen you around here before. Consider giving us a like and a subscribe if you would. Pac-12 will survive if they had Texas State, UTSA, Rice. There's one we haven't brought up recently, Rice. UNLV, Tulane, Memphis, USF in all sports, and then St. Mary's, Creighton, Wichita State in basketball. That's a hell of a comment there, and I think you got to remember you got to learn to walk before, or learn to crawl before you walk. I don't think it's going to be massive. They're just trying to get to 8 and get a media deal right now. MBM donated $25 to help Rock with his setup. Rock, I'm going to send you $25 minus the 30% fee from YouTube, and you can get you a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 and a pack of Tarletons.
Yeah, and I will die. I mean, Lord knows I have no idea what's going on. I never had this kind of problem before. So
I'm trying to find the right sound effect for you.
It'll probably break my computer if you play it.
Well, here we go. We'll see.
And hard times are when a man has worked at a job 30 years. 30 years. They give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, hey, a computer took your place, daddy. That's hard time.
Rock has experienced some hard times, but look out. There's going to be a hurricane
Stand
coming
back.
for him.
There's a hurricane coming through.
So thank you for the $25 super chat, MBM. It is appreciated, sir. Rock will get it figured out. He is an expert. He went to Miami. He's got this all figured out. And
I survived Nevin Shapiro and having Blake James as my athletic director. This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. And if he can't figure it out, there's a UCLA alumni in the house. I'm sure they've got it covered. So
Absolutely, the better half.
But we appreciate that generosity again, MBM. You're the MVP. Much appreciated, sir. Go Black 45 says none of the Louisiana teams will leave. They can't afford it. I know for a fact Tulane is planning to expand to fit into the new ACC. Again, that's the popular rumor is that they are basically waiting and biding their time to get into the ACC. If North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech, Duke, any of those schools leave the ACC, they want to be prepared. They want to be the backfills. They want to get in there. So they maybe didn't choose the Pac because they want to wait, see what's available to them. Who knows? We'll see.
Hey, that's just. I mean, look, if you think that's going to happen, it's not like if you know somebody wanted you as bad as they did. Like most likely a Tulane, if they were to play that thing, and let's say that the Pac-12 expands and gets a $10 million deal, Tulane's not going to bring their deal down.
Yeah, the travel costs too. I remember somebody saying at the time, I forget which reporter it was, but travel costs were a sticking point. Stormy Cyclone says, for the MD 2020 bootleg fund, I could probably buy him 2 bottles for $10. Stormy Cyclone, maybe I'll get him one of those flavors he showed us on Friday night, Tampico or that banana raisin and everything else. But yeah, I think Wild Ute may have had a little more of a sheltered life than some of the rest of us.
I mean, I think that in the right 7-Eleven, MD 2020 is cheaper than a super big gulp.
Yeah, it probably is. But, you know, I didn't realize that Utah had like a limit on the percentage of alcohol something could have before you could sell it. He said it's like 5 or 6%, and that's as heavy as it goes.
Oh, yeah. So, it's like in some states, it's non-alcoholic beer. In Utah, it's like 100 proof.
I don't even think it's 100 proof. I don't think.
No, I mean that's the equivalent. Like in some states, they'll sell the same thing as like non-alcoholic beer, and in Utah, it might be like 100 proof in some places.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind because it's like Utah had legalized marijuana before Ohio did. Didn't have beer though. Didn't have 6% beer. But let's give you here we go. Here's a little Mad Dog 2020 sound effect for you, Stormy Cyclone.
That's all right, man. Guess what? I was a little bit wasted my own self. Okay?
Man, you two are regular old Three Musketeers.
Yeah, we are. Touche.
Tarleton, no soup for you. Idaho, the Idaho Vandals are across the river from Washington State. Yeah. Still think you got to get Texas. Dave's here says Wyoming. Not a lot of market, not a lot of population. They did give us Josh Allen. Kevin Hampton says markets don't equate to good viewership at all. There's a ton of evidence that shows market size does not matter much. Except, Kevin, the Pac-12 still has the Pac-12 network.
That is true.
If they wanted to restart that and start pushing it in markets, the biggest market in Nevada is Las Vegas. So, and I've heard from enough people about market size that to media partners and to universities, market size matters. It absolutely does. Thought the Chalk was NBA team in Seattle. They deserve one. I don't know if they're going to get one. If Las Vegas, well, you would have to get 2 teams, right? You'd have to. Well, you'd almost have to go to 4 because then you would have 2 in the West, and you need 2. I don't know. I don't follow the NBA enough to get that going. So,
do you know how hard it is to diagnose everything and do the show at the same time? Yes, you do. But I think we're good now, right?
Oh, please! I do tech support and I drink.
Does everything sound good at the same time now? And I can actually hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, very good.
You're a little low. You might want to turn your volume on the mic up just a hair.
Yep, no worries.
Let me know when I'm good. You're good. You're good. Go Black 45 says Las Vegas might run out of water before the Pac gets a media deal. Sadly, that's true. The hotel occupancy and casinos have plummeted. Legal sports betting pushing that effect. I'm sure some of it is, but it's going to get back to where it was before. I think it's going to be that tourist trap. Now they got the big what do they call it? The globe or the sphere with all the pretty colors on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think illegal sports betting going across everywhere, it certainly has not helped. There's definitely global factors going on right now that are also diminishing the tourist part, but I don't know if that part of tourism will actually impact college football. That's pretty much a domestic product for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll get back towards. Would ever get back to the heyday? Probably not. But then again, Las Vegas has underwent lots of changes. Don't have the Rat Pack there no more, or mobs skimming the takes. So
right. They also tried going very family friendly at one point. You had like a Wet and Wild on the Strip instead of just in Disneyland and Orlando or what have you, and that went away too. So
yeah, one time I was there, they had a pirate show. So I don't know if you like pirates, which I'm sure kids did. And Las Vegas wants to build an MLB stadium for the A's as well, or so they say. Yes, don't bring that up around Daniel Gygax, please, Stephen. He is an A's fan, and he is still hurting. So please, I wouldn't mind
tough
if you
to be
an
Oakland fan in general, right?
Yeah, I know.
They've been screwed over and over. You've even had teams that stayed in the market essentially move back across in other places. So
yeah, but I mean, at least they don't have to have Mark Davis's haircut.
That is true.
Stormy Cyclone. I wouldn't mind if UNLV was in the Big 12. It would be a 7-day visit for a road game. Oh, I think you're underestimating yourself, Stormy Cyclone. I think you can blow your money in much quicker than 7 days.
You'll start off checking out the Bellagio buffet, and you'll be at off strip stuff by Thursday.
As much as I bitch about the Pac-12 rolling hard 8, I love to roll hard 8s. I always bet on hard 8s. Not a single permit has been filed for the Vegas baseball stadium. Honestly, I could see the A's folding altogether, opening up an expansion city opportunity.
I don't think the A's would fold altogether. They'll just find another city.
Or they'll find another buyer.
You're not going to lose a legacy brand and team that goes back to multiple cities from the 1900s.
The amazing A's. AMAC says nothing like a pack of Tarletons. There you go. The poor Pac-12 so incompetent that it stumbled into getting Boise State and Gonzaga to join. Incompetent. Well, here it is. They still don't have a media deal. They are still on the hook, Kevin. They signed an agreement that puts them on the hook for them poaching fees. Now, and we've had this discussion on the channel before, if their contract with their old Pac-12 teams was still valid, what makes this contract with the Mountain West invalid? It's a double standard that Oregon State and Washington State are playing here. That we could sue Washington and Oregon and USC and UCLA and in Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State, but we can't be sued by Mountain West. That contract doesn't count.
Honestly, I think those schools' athletic departments should run for federal office.
It blows my mind that they literally make this argument about contracts and then just completely flip and say, well, that this contract isn't worth the paper it's written on. Dave's here brings up Big Ten is having their media day in Vegas this year. Yeah, there might be a time when they have their championship game in Vegas as well. They put orange juice and mimosas there. Most of the time I get one here in Seattle, and it's a splash of OJ and a glass of champagne. Well, look, at our restaurants, we care about profit margin. So it's champagne and it's some kind of orange juice like
You're lucky if it's not interrupted with sparkling water there as well.
It's cooked champagne and some orange-like drink. It's probably Tang. I don't know. I don't know. They were free. I don't normally order them. Don't start the rumor out there that Moen drinks mimosas. Or if he does, they're Moen mimosas. Creighton isn't leaving the Big East. Yeah, I don't think anybody's leaving the Big East. Especially with rev share, all those basketball-only schools. Makes the most sense. The Pac takes Texas State now, and in 27 or 28 will take UTSA, UNT, Tulsa, and UNLV. Again, I think I think UNLV's payment is going to be stretched over such a time period that I don't think UNLV can leave the Mountain West that soon. I think UNLV is really, really, really counting on that money.
And nothing really changes for UTSA for the reasons that they didn't want to leave the AAC. Based off of the numbers we're hearing so far. Again, nothing's done, so we don't know. But
right,
if they're in the ballpark, there's still the same math not working for them.
New A Stadium already broke ground. Okay, here we go. Justin R says, correct. I don't want USF to join the Pac only for the ACC to come calling. I don't need USF to pay exit fees for both the AAC and Pac-12. And Justin's completely right, especially the University of South Florida. If Florida State and Miami leave, the ACC
they get to go directly to go. Do not, go right to go, collect 200. You're getting a call, and you probably in a catbird seat because they can't afford to lose the state of Florida.
Literally, Miami and Florida are throwing you the keys on the way out the door, or Florida State are throwing you the keys on the way out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Because ESPN will still have the ACC network for whatever cord cutting is going on through at least 2036, no matter what. So they don't want to lose the diminishing but still existing gates to the boxes that people still have in the state of Florida for their carriage fees.
Go Black says Tulane keeps tight rein on their athletes with the academics. They truly believe the extra travel will hurt that. According to the Big Ten, the extra travel this year didn't hurt anybody. But that's according to the Big Ten. I told my dad I wanted to visit Salt Lake City next summer for our annual vacation. He immediately vetoed the idea based on his concern to easily purchase liquor. Until Friday, I had no idea. I knew that there's, a significant population there that abstains, but I figured it would be available for those who choose not to.
Yeah, well, that was like the first time I went to Bentonville, Arkansas for a meeting at a Walmart headquarters, and I had to buy a membership card at Applebee's.
Stormy Cyclone, I don't have the plate logo on here. I've got it on the big freaking Friday show, so you'll just have to do with the big Stormy Cyclone mascot head grinning at you. I'm sorry, but please enjoy that one.
Farmageddon, getting closer.
Farmageddon. I saw a Farmageddon preview on YouTube today. Like, ooh, getting close. The Pac-12 also currently has amazing administrative offices.
That helped the negotiating strategy pretty heavily.
Hey, Moen, did you smoke Winston when you was young? I've smoked Winstons before. Not my preferable brand. I was a Marlboro man. As we called them cowboy killers. Although I switched from Marlboro Reds to Marlboro Lights at one point. And then I got cancer and decided maybe I'd better quit while I was ahead. So, do they even have weed in Utah? They do. Medical marijuana is legalized in Utah. It was legalized in Utah before it was legalized in Ohio. And I only know that because one of the companies that grows in Ohio is a Utah company. Sun Devil ASU says, I think the Pac expands with Tech State. AAC doesn't change, then the top of the pack and top of the AAC try and backfill into the Big 12 and ACC after the next round of realignment.
When do we think the next round of realignment really actually starts? We haven't said that in a minute. Like, just with everything that's happened, when do you, besides the, is that actually a date in life when like shit gets weird?
When shit gets weird, that's when it happens.
Well, what's the definition of first and what's the definition of the second in this world?
Stay tuned. That's all I can tell. All I was told is when shit gets weird. Kevin Hampton, it's not really the Pac-12 network. It's just a production facility. They do TV production for a variety of customers. Still a healthy asset. And if you've got a production facility, and there are for sure companies in Las Vegas that you could be doing production work for. Todd Honk says AI use taints any trivia titles anymore. It would, except I can type extremely fast. And don't ever trust what AI tells you, guys. Listen, AI lies all the time.
Yeah, AI is an amazing tool, but you actually have to be very wise about BS detecting. And even if you are, sometimes it'll get something past you. It is a tool. It is not the answer.
Right. It tells me wrong information all the time, and then I have to say, no, this is A, B, and C, and they go, oh, you're right. Let me correct that. It's like, okay. Trust me, if you go ask AI right now who the Pac-12's number 8 team is, it's going to tell you they're eyeing Boise State, they're eyeing Fresno State, and they're eyeing San Diego State.
Yeah, I will give you a really very recent specific example. Asked AI to give me a summary of the existing potential NIL legislation that has been done from Tommy Tuberville, which was introduced in 2024, to the Sport Act. And one of the points it put in was that one of those acts included a 3-year no transfer rule. Because sometimes somebody put that in an article that it learned from adjacent to that as like a theoretical thing, and it juxtaposed that. And you'd have to be one of the sickos who watches us, as far as college football fans, to be able to tell ChatGPT that it was ChatGPT wrong.
Yeah, you can tell ChatGPT or Grok. Ask it when shit will get weird. And when you ask it, then maybe that'll give us all some inclination of when shit gets weird. Jason Spangler says, I don't know, I see a bunch of TikToks every night and everything is empty in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, at some point, I've always said this, if it gets too bad, they will take some things from rural counties and bring them into Las Vegas.
If you know, you know.
Yep. If you know, you know. They will take some ranches and move them into Las Vegas proper. They have 12 months to get member 8, by the way.
They do. That's correct. But certain conferences have longer. Some schools potentially leaving haven't given or will be working around a notice to leave and have to pay more as a result, which means the Pac-12 might have to pay more to help offset it. Depends upon the conference.
Jason says, Vegas was so great between 96 2016. There were still plenty of cheaper places that offered a nice mix. Everything there now is just so ridiculously expensive that it's a complete turnoff. I haven't been to Las Vegas in a long time, so I can't. Like I said, last time I was there was a pirate show. I don't even know if they have that pirate show anymore. So
they do not. It's TI. It went away for a while ago, but it used to be that they had the pirate show right next to the Mirage, which had the volcano, which they also no longer have.
And they opened that casino with a lion's head, and then they had to get rid of the lion's head because it was bad luck for Chinese tourists. Mocktails are big in Utah. I fail to see the point of
just give me Kool-Aid then.
Right. I mean, if I'm not catching a buzz, I'll just drink a soda. It's probably called mimosa drink. They listed them as mimosas. Jose says first crown apple, now mimosas. You know, the bad part, Jose, is I paid for the crown apple. I got the mimosa for free.
What you don't know that is Moen is working on his way down to get an endorsement deal from NIL from Fat Tuesdays.
They won't lose in court over the poaching fees, and I doubt the MWC wants to go there. The Pac-12 told the Mountain West it believed that aspect of the contract was illegal when it was signed. And they also thought that certain aspects of that contract that the Pac-12 had signed was illegal and didn't hold up. They ended up paying off Oregon State and Washington State. So
yeah, NCAA thought that telling people they couldn't make money off of their name, image, and likeness was legal for decades.
Yeah, I can't just drive down the street doing 150 and going saying I think that the way that law is written is illegal. Steele Austin says everything is better in Utah. What's up, everyone?
What's up, Steele?
Steele, maybe I'm moving to Utah, maybe to run a bootlegging business. I don't know.
I mean, at first we at least just got to go to the Holy War, Moen, and then we can decide.
That's true. That's the way everything is going in America. If you don't like what you sign, just sue.
I would say that is more public, but is not exactly new in America.
Now, Kevin Hampton is saying you can drink at bars and concert venues in Salt Lake City. So I'm going to have to go to Salt Lake City and visit a concert every... I mean, what if I want to get together with some friends, and maybe have... Can you buy a bottle from a bar in Salt Lake City? Because here in Ohio, you can buy bottles from bars if you want. I'd be interested if they'd let you buy a bottle from a bar in Salt Lake City.
I've been there a few times, but I honestly just don't remember, and anything I would have comment on could have been changed by many laws since. But I did help bring Slayer to Salt Lake City in front of at a record store, so I probably would be banned at the time if I went back.
Dave's here says, like the cut and pasted definition of market value. Market value is different for everybody. It's not a solid number, but we're going to talk about that here in a minute. We're going to come up with our evaluations. We're going to let you guys all pick, and we'll figure out how much the Pac-12 is getting in this media deal. Next round of realignment, intent to leave 27 to 29, actual conference play 2030. So they're just announcing they're going to leave in 27 through 29.
Has there been a deal where somebody announced like 3 years out and actually wound up staying 3 years or 2 years out? Because Texas and Oklahoma didn't.
Yeah, Shonsky says he's flying to Chicago tomorrow to pick up a car my sister bought. What are some cool places to eat or go? Does anyone in chat know? I'm going to say this right now. Do not eat Chicago deep dish pizza. It is not pizza. It's a casserole. It's not pizza. It's a casserole. Don't eat it. Do not eat it. Chicago hot dogs, A+.
I would disagree with it's different, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. I would definitely get Chicago deep dish if you want to try the touristy stuff. But the hot dogs, absolutely. There's some beef sandwich places, but there's probably some Chicago people or people who have traveled there more often than I have who can comment in the chat or on the video on demand. Drop them in so our friend here has some ideas of where to go besides looking it up on Yelp.
Yeah, Chicago hot dogs, fried ones. I forget what they call them. Fried Chicago hot dogs. They deep fry them. They're awesome. Awesome. I couldn't find a place with a bad hot dog when I was in Chicago. I don't know why they brag about their deep dish pizza. Give me a Chicago hot dog. Jeff Fuller says, good evening, gents. Fellow sicko checking in. Thank you, Jeff Fuller. Be interested to see what your evaluation is. Go Black says Chicago deep dish pizza is okay. Way too much sauce for me. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Only thing I know about SLC is from the movie SLC Punk. Oi, oi, oi. Rock and Rant, Have a Drink on Me by AC/DC. I know you had affiliations with them. That's why I brought it up, my friend.
I definitely did. The Rock and Roll Train, Black Ice, I was working with them a lot back in the day. Cool guys. Still rocking out. They're on tour. I know a lot of people have seen them this summer. It's pretty friggin' amazing to think about how they're doing that in their mid to upper 70s.
Yeah. Still play it at Ohio Stadium. Hell's Bells. Play it every home game. Sears Tower has a lot of good eating places. I don't think I've ever eaten there. I don't even think I went in there. MBM is endorsing Chicago Deep Dish. Giordano's is good. So try and find Giordano's when you're there.
Yeah, there's like three. There's like the three quintessential places in Chicago. If you're going to go down that road, everyone will have their different opinion, but they're all pretty good unless you just want to be partisan.
It's like New York where there's 14 Ray's pizzas and they're all the original.
Yeah, and pretty much they all suck, actually. Like, if you go to New York, do not go to Ray's Pizza. That's actually the thing. Don't do it.
Yeah, and everyone's here. It's ridiculous.
And that I can say, I'm a former, I grew up in New York. I worked in New York. Ray's Pizza is not where, you go when you're hungry and it's close and it's cheap, but there's probably around the corner from that place in Times Square, a $1.99 slice that's better.
Absolutely. And if you go to New York, fresh mozzarella. Get the fresh mozzarella on the pizza. It is excellent. They know how to make mozzarella there. Jose says deep dish is no bueno. Deep dish sounds good, actually. Well, meet up. I would just take a Pepsi AC or something because that tomato is going to be really acidic.
Absolutely. But if you like, do you like Detroit style?
See, I'm not a huge fan of Detroit style either.
Yeah, that makes sense. But, it's just a different variation. At the end of the day, it's bread, sauce, and cheese, right? So it's very difficult, even the worst place in America, to screw it up, though some do it. But you won't eat 4 slices of it unless you're just trying to do a food challenge.
And I will say this, wherever you grow up, that is going to be the best pizza. Whatever style it is where you grew up, that's the best pizza. Like for me, Columbus style pizza, there's no better pizza. So Timothy Green says he's mainly a steak and potato type guy. Congratulations. I can't eat red meat anymore, so I don't get to have steaks. The only team that said they would leave 3 years out and are still there is Florida State University. Well, you made the Miami fan laugh. So.
Oh, Mo, and by the way, I do have a bone to pick with you from Friday.
Okay.
My little comment on Wisconsin wasn't that Miami was innocent, because nobody's innocent. My comment about our friends at Wisconsin was when they had their whole tantrum about Xavier Lucas and not putting it in the portal when they requested it and accusing Miami and the Big Ten both going public with it, I was like, I know for a fact that you guys should be really careful about what you're saying because your athletic department lives in a glass house. And so my comment was not so much that anybody is innocent. My comment was glass houses for the win.
Yes, but here's the thing you're forgetting, Rock. Wisconsin self-reported. Wisconsin also reported tampering. And Miami never proved that they didn't tamper.
Can't prove a negative. I don't know what part of that you haven't learned along the way.
Why wouldn't the ACC come out and defend you? Why wouldn't your conference defend you?
If there's something behind it, you talked in public. Where is it? Still waiting. It's now 127 days since they accused somebody of doing something about a contract that's not so unenforceable that they haven't gone to court over it. So, and self-reporting 9 people. So your entire athletic department is so terrible that you have 9 people not know about what impermissible contact is, the same kind of thing you basically accuse somebody else of.
They had left from a previous university from a different conference. They had entered a new conference, different rules. let's put it this way. When it happened, the Big Ten came out and backed their school. Jim Phillips, he was too busy giving the circus seal to Notre Dame.
Oh, so we're going to use Jim Phillips as the guiding light and principle of how to defend anybody in your conference ever.
Hey, he was your commissioner. You voted for Stanford and SMU
My only thing
and all of them
was
on Jim
not
Phillips,
about defending others. It was about the rampant hypocrisy of the accusation. Glass houses, not just a Billy Joel album.
Nobody knows Billy Joel. MBM says, I'll eat pizza in all shapes and sizes with a cold beer. Will you eat it with pineapple on it, MBM? Answer that. Answer the question. Will you eat it with pineapple on it? Steel Austin asks, what is Columbus-style pizza? It is a cornmeal dough, usually very thin, toppings edge to edge. As far as national chains, if you've ever heard of a Donato's style pizza, it's usually cut in squares, tavern style. And if you've heard of Donato's or look up Donato's, they're the big national chain out of Columbus.
For some reason, I guess I had thought you had said it was like frozen pizza. You just let thaw a little bit. And then
No, that's Ohio Valley pizza. That shit is disgusting, and I won't stand for it. I drive an hour to get Donato's. I will not eat the pizza around here.
So I'm not that far off. There is something toxic brewing in the state of Ohio around pizza.
They cook the crust in the sauce and throw the cheese on it at the end. As you're taking it out the door, they're throwing cheese on that pizza. Every bar has good nachos. We hit most of them out board of trade visit. Hey, most bars have all kinds of good food if you're drunk enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to take chips that somebody else made for you and buy any cheese and melt it. And then everything else is just like gravy.
Yeah. Los Angeles has some good pizza places, especially by Man's Chinese Theater. Every time I've been to LA, it's usually Mexican food for me. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, there's completely passable pizza in various places of LA, but if you were coming here and you asked me to give you 25 places to go get food, I would have like 150 after that before I recommended the first pizza place.
Yeah, it was just so much better than the Mexican food you can get around here. Texas and OU stayed 1 year after announcing intent, bought years 2 and 3 out from the ESPN. Or from the Big 12. That's very true. James Davis says, because Miami are in the ACC, so no wonder they didn't get support for their conference. Well, I don't know. They're the ones who propped Jim Phillips up. I mean, jalapeno and pineapple work well together on pizza.
I mean, I might be as anti-pineapple on pizza as Greg Flugart is about cheese on burgers.
I am very anti-pineapple on pizza. Fruit does not belong on pizza.
Jalapenos work, though. I have had jalapenos on pizza.
Jalapenos I'll allow. That pineapple stuff. Pineapple, oranges, any fruit. We're not tolerating it. And I don't consider tomato a fruit either. I'm just putting it out there. Rant, you know those Midwestern values are ironclad, so they claim.
Ironclad. That should be the official word of college football over the last 2 years.
Town Hawk, mowing, drinking the old Milwaukee of champagnes. That's right, Cooks. Cooks are brute. I think those are probably about the cheapest champagnes you can get, but we won't get into a discussion of bun champagnes tonight. We're going to end this. I'm going to get some thoughts in here. Okay, media deal. We've talked about who number 8 might be. Texas State, Rice, you know, we've listed at least 20 schools at this point between chatting ourselves of who it might be. Who's number 8? What's the media value per school?
I think it's Texas State because I think it's the only school that gets them within a rounding up to 10 as a baseline deal. They might have some creative performance-based incentives in there that can get the conference more money. I'm not sure what those are. An equivalent would have been when the Pac-12 was having a deal on the table for Apple TV and subscription conversions. Those are hard to do. But I think Texas State is probably the only one that is rumored that gets you able to publicly say 10 million. That's my guess.
I am going to say Texas State with a slight chance. They take 2 and get Texas State and UTSA. I'm going to put the payout at around 12 million. And I'm going to say you're going to have it broken up between multiple partners. Like the CW is probably going to get a game.
We might get a game on the Mafia Network, actually.
Yeah, we might get, we don't have that kind of money. But probably the CW, maybe on a Turner Sports. Possibility that they get something going there. I know Turner Sports has some Big 12 games, but maybe they can buy some Pac-12 games as well. Possible CBS has a slot after the 3:30 game if they want to do a primetime game, but I don't know that CBS wants to do a primetime Pac-12 game going up against Fox and ABC at that time slot with college football. They may want to stick to their golden oldies, the old people shows that they show on Saturday nights that get viewers. So I don't know, but that was my pick. Let us know in the comments section. Who's number 8? What's the value per school? That's what we want to find out from you. Go ahead and leave it in the comments section. For myself and Rock, I want to thank everybody who joined us here tonight. We appreciate everybody coming in and kind of dealing with our tech issues, and we got it figured out. We got it figured out. So
hey, way better than if it was our friend Bomber on here.
No, yeah, it is, because Bomber would be blowing up my cell phone. So until next Sunday, I want to personally thank Ryan Willie, MBM, the MVP, and Stormy Cyclone for all their super chats and helping support, keep the lights on here at the College Football Mafia. And I will leave you with this. When shit gets weird.